Hey family, listen carefully. ECOWAS plan to launch ECO currency in 2027. It is not ready. Right now, it's a pipe dream. How can ECOWAS announce a launch date before establishing a central bank that would issue the currency? Think about that. The regional payment system is unfinished. Its exchange rate mechanism is still being developed, and ECOWAS has not publicly identified which countries qualify to participate. That is not a launch plan. That is another promise built on unfinished institution. But this time something is different. ECOWAS is watching AES build a competing center of power in West Africa. And that may explain why another ECO deadline has suddenly appeared. Stay with me, because once you examine the countries expected to launch this currency, the entire announcement begins to unravel. ECOWAS first promised West Africa a regional currency 23 years ago. Since then, one deadline had come and gone, another had passed, and no currency, no regional central bank, no monetary union. Now ECOWAS want West Africa to believe that 2027 will be different. But what has ECOWAS completed this time that it failed to complete during the previous 23 years? If you stand for Africa's sovereignty and want analysis that examine what's been built, not simply what politicians announce, subscribe to West Best Media right now. Reality check. Let us look at Nigeria and Ghana, because this is where the 2027 promise begins to fall apart. Nigeria has ECOWAS' largest economy and more than half of its population. Ghana is one of the regional most important independent currency state. Yet neither country has demonstrated that it is prepared to surrender control of its currency, reserve interest rates, and monetary policy to ECOWAS. Without Nigeria and Ghana, what exactly would the ECO represent? ECOWAS says that the currency will launch first with countries that meet its convenience requirement. Other countries will join later. But ECOWAS has not published a current list showing which countries are qualified. The latest public identified countries to meet all four primary requirements were Benin and Cape Verde, based on 24 figures. But figures from 24 cannot automatically prove readiness in 2026. Benin conflict with Niger damaged coastal border commerce and contribute to a decline in activity at Port Cotonou. The port later recovered some of its activity, but ECOWAS has not published current figures proving that Benin still meet every requirement. Nigeria and Ghana were not among the countries publicly identified as qualified. As of the latest separate assessment, none of West African Monetary Zone countries met all four primary requirements. Now the contradiction is impossible to ignore. ECOWAS is promising a regional currency without showing that it is its most important independent currency economy are ready to participate. And ECOWAS without Nigeria may carry ECOWAS name, but it would not carry the economic weight of West Africa. Tell me in the comments, is ECOWAS preparing a genuine regional currency, or is it trying to protect a deadline? And ECOWAS has another problem. Its chairman is struggling to maintain political unity in his own country. Senegal President Bassirou Diomaye Faye fired Ousmane Sonko. the man who put him in power and broke with PASTEF, the movement that elected him. Now Faye has endorsed former President Macky Sall for United States Secretary General, the same president who jailed both him and Sanko. Think about that. Faye fired the man who put him in power and is now backing the man who jailed them both. At the same time, Faye has developed warm relationship with French President Emmanuel Macron. Although many Senegalese voted for greater sovereignty and a break from France's traditional influence. If ECOWAS chairman cannot maintain trust and unity at home, how will he pursue an entire region to surrender control of its money? And now we arrive at the question ECOWAS has not answered. After 23 years of failed deadlines, who decide that ECOWAS must suddenly launch 2027? And why? And now, why now? What changed except the rise of the AES? ECOWAS still has no operational regional central bank. Nigeria and Ghana still have not agreed to surrender control of its currency. ECOWAS still has not published a current list of qualified countries. The only major change is that Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger left ECOWAS, formed AES, and began building their own institutions. So in 2027, ECO announced really about launching a currency or stopping the AES from becoming West Africa's new center of power. And was this decision made entire inside West Africa, or outside interests also pushing ECOWAS to act? France and Europe have clearly strategic interests in preventing ECOWAS from losing further influence. The ECO project existed before AES, but the region has changed. AES is building institutions, taking greater control of strategic resources, and challenging political order that dominate West Africa for decades. After 23 years of failure, the timing of this announcement cannot simply be ignored. If ECOWAS afraid that some of its members may be thinking about jumping ship, is the sudden 2027 ECO deadline a sign of confidence or desperate attempt to keep countries aboard or regional organization that may be sinking? If you believe Africa must examine who benefit from major political announcements, hit the like button and help more people see this discussion. That possibility is no longer difficult to ignore. Togo is already deepening its relationship with the AES. It provided landlocked AES countries with access to the port of Loma. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger account for most of that port transit traffic. Ghana is also expanding cooperation with the AES. President John Mahama visit all three AES countries, appoint a special envoy to describe the AES alliance as an invisible or irreversible reality. Togo has not announced that it is joining the AES. Ghana has not announced that it is leaving ECOWAS. But political realignment usually begins long before formal announcements. It begins with trade, then transportation, then security cooperation. By the time formal membership is discussed, the realignment may have already happened. Now compare ECOWAS announcement with what the AES is actually building. The AES has not announced a common currency date yet. It has not established an independent central bank, and it has not officially withdrawn from the BCEAO monetary system. But unlike ECOWAS, AES is turning political decisions into functioning institutions. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger established the Confederated Bank for Investment and Development with capital of over 500 billion CFA franc. They introduced a common biometric passport. They reduced additional roaming charges. They create a unified military force. Those are not proposal names. Those are institutions. And Mali also have previous experience outside of the CFA. It operated Mali franc from 1962 until returning to the CFA in 1984. That experience faces inflation, devaluation, pressure on foreign reserve. But Mali is no longer acting alone. The AES has combined market of approximately 70 million people. Its members possesses gold, uranium, cotton, livestock, and major agricultural resources. If these countries direct more export earning through their own institution, pool part of their reserve, and establish a credible central bank, the monetary contest change immediately. The decisive institution is still missing, but the moment AES establish a central bank, ECOWAS will no longer be competing against an idea. It will be competing against an alternative monetary project. If you believe functioning institution matters more than political deadline, share this video with someone following the future of West Africa. But this alignment may not stop Togo or Ghana. What happens if one or two present ECOWAS countries eventually join the AES? If Togo joined, the AES would bring an Atlantic coastal line and deep water port directly into political structure. But the bigger question is, Niger is facing serious internal problem of its own. If ECOWAS' largest member become consumed with holding itself together, who will hold ECOWAS together? And what happens if Nigeria next leader look towards the AES? This is why contest is much larger than money. ECOWAS has planned committee and 23 years of unfinished promises. The AES has no central bank, but it has political alignment, resource, and momentum. One bloc has blueprint without unity. The other has unity but has not completed the blueprint. Whichever bloc closed that gap first could shape West Africa for the next generation. The winner will not be organization that announce the next deadline. It will be the one that control its resource, build credibility institutions, and earn the confidence of the people. The struggle over West Africa currency has already begun. Subscribe to West Blessed Media and watch our continued AES coverage on the end screen. And the next major decision could determine who controls West Africa. See you later.